Welcome to Cruise News Central with Joseph.
Hey, when you guys are on a cruise, do you get those phone notifications from the casino? They just pop in and they're like, hey, we're open. Just wanted to let you know. Hey, we're having a blast down here. You should come down. For whatever reason, when I get those, I start thinking, man, I should get down there. I need to win some money. Do I actually win money when I go down there? Well, that's not really the point here. It's just kind of crazy how a little nudge from a phone notification can completely change the direction of your entire evening. Well, in our first cruise news story today, MSC Cruises is doing kind of the same thing except on the biggest stage of the year, the Super Bowl. Let's roll the story.
Do football fans like to take cruise vacations? MSC Cruises is banking on it. They announced they will be running their first ever 60-second Super Bowl ad this year, hoping to entice would-be cruisers to get on their new ship, World America. The commercial will feature two undisclosed celebrities that they hope will be more interesting than the bag of chips the Super Bowl watchers are sure to reach for during the commercial breaks. The commercial spot will cost the cruise giant $14 million. That may sound like a lot, but it is mere pocket change next to the estimated $1 billion to build the World America cruise ship.
Hey, there are already some really big changes happening in cruising this year. One cruise line thinks they have the solution to an age-old problem, and another cruise line is banning an item that is really popular with families. But before we get to that, we need to talk about how the U.S. Coast Guard teamed up with Royal Caribbean to save the day. Let's roll the story.
Cruise news. Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas played a crucial role in the rescue of 15 fishermen stranded on a disabled boat adrift in the Atlantic. The ship's crew spotted the vessel after the fishermen fired flares, signaling distress, and immediately alerted the U.S. Coast Guard. Due to rough weather conditions, Liberty of the Seas was unable to deploy a rescue boat, but remained nearby providing critical support until the Coast Guard arrived. Maritime law requires any ship, including cruise ships, to help any vessel or people in need while at sea. The Coast Guard later confirmed that all 15 fishermen were safely returned to the Bahamas with no injuries reported.
So imagine you're walking down the street in St. Kitts. It's beautiful. You just got off the cruise ship. You're going to go do some shopping, but you're kind of distracted by all the beautiful sights you see. Out of nowhere, a local kid on a bicycle runs into you, knocks you down, and you find yourself saying, "Son of a witch, watch where you're going, you little ship." Well, you gotta watch what you say in a situation like that in St. Kitts, apparently, because otherwise you might find yourself in a Caribbean jail cell. Let's roll the story.
Cruise news. You will need to watch your language if you have St. Kitts on your cruise itinerary. Travelers to this tropical paradise have been warned that if they are caught swearing, they could be jailed. A no profanity law bans anyone from using language that can be deemed abusive, blasphemous, indecent, insulting, or threatening. Although many tourists aren't aware of the law, St. Kitts has been known to enforce it. According to the BBC, the musician 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, was arrested after performing at a festival on St. Kitts, along with a member of his entourage. The star is said to have used indecent language while performing his song, Pimp. What do you think? Is banning swearing in public taking things a step too far?
There are so many different ways to communicate these days. You can call people, you can text, you can get emails, got social media out there. But when you get on a cruise ship, unless you have the internet package, all that goes away. Well, a lot of people found a kind of a workaround solution for this, but Norwegian Cruise Line decided to ban that. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but first we need to talk about what you've all been waiting for. What was the final straw to get this cruise line to crack down on the age-old problem of the chair hog? Let's roll the story.
Carnival Cruise Line is at it again. This time they are addressing the so-called chair hog issue, where people put down their towels early in the day on the most desirable places to sit on the ship and then claim the spot for the entire day, leaving everyone else SOL on getting to enjoy those prime locations. Well, Carnival now has the crew looking for this selfish cruise practice and is putting a 40-minute limit on an empty chair. If you don't get back in time, the chair or sun lounger becomes fair game again. What do you think? Is Carnival onto something with this new policy?
In our next story, Princess Cruise Line, among others, are showing their sympathy for people affected by the LA wildfires. Let's roll the story.
Even the cruise lines have been affected by the devastating wildfires in the Los Angeles area. Princess Cruise Line has announced that they are offering flexible options for booked guests residing in areas that have been affected by the LA fires. The cruise line will enable guests to cancel their booked cruises without penalties, which are scheduled to depart between January 11th and January 30th, 2025. They will receive a future cruise credit equal to the value of their booking and full refunds for any add-on products like shore excursions or the Princess packages. In a statement, they said, "We are committed to ensuring these guests have the opportunity to rebook their cruise when the time is right." Do you know someone affected by the wildfires?
Norwegian Cruise Line is known for being a really family-friendly and family-orientated cruise line. Well, there's going to be a lot of families not happy about this latest banned item. Let's roll the story.
Norwegian Cruise Line has just banned a popular communication device on its ships. If you're sailing Norwegian, the days of hearing the annoying beeps, static, and parents yelling at their children through low-quality walkie-talkies are over. The cruise line has officially added walkie-talkies to the banned item list. Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruise Line, at least as of now, are still allowing them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they join in the ban in the coming months. The more popular cruising becomes, the more restrictions you can expect. Do you use walkie-talkies when you cruise?
Do you want to know one of my favorite parts about cruising? Finding a secret spot like this that no one else knows about. We're sailing on the Carnival Vista, and like many Carnival ships, there is a hidden viewing area at the forward end of the ship, on the decks above the bridge. It's not easy to find, but if you look on your ship map, you can see there is a passageway that leads outside. Walk to the end of the stateroom hallway, and you'll see a door with a porthole. Now, this isn't always open while the ship is moving because it can become quite windy out here. But even when it is open, hardly anyone comes out here, and to me, that makes it the perfect spot to catch a sunset.
5 things to never do in a cruise ship buffet. 1. If you drop the salad dressing on the floor, don't just pick it back up for the next person to use. This happened to me aboard the Carnival Conquest. The person in front of me, after dropping the ranch, picked it back up, looked around, and just put it back. For the love of all that is good, give it to an employee to wash it before it goes back on the buffet line. 2. Don't eat your food in the buffet line. I have seen this many times. Just wait to get back to your table, people. You can do it. It is gross for the rest of us to see and unsanitary considering you will be picking up the tongs again after touching your mouth. Number 3, don't comment on how many cookies I'm putting on my plate. It's none of your business if I want 6 cookies. Also, maybe I'm bringing some back to my room for a late night snack. Did you consider that? Number 4, don't butt in line. Are you 5 years old? Do you think you're more special than the rest of us? Get back and patiently wait for the firecracker shrimp like the rest of us. Number 5, don't set up a 4-hour game of Monopoly at a table in the buffet during the busy time. It's hard enough to find a table without board games going on everywhere. Just pass go, collect your $100, and head down to an empty lounge to play your game. If you liked this episode of Cruise News Central, take a look around on the screen and click on the other one that's up there right now. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Always remember, no matter what destination you choose, no matter what cruise line you choose, adventure awaits.